All right, JJ McCarthy's been all the buzz recently in the NFL draft space, so we're going to talk about him, talk about his pros, his cons, where we think he could go in the NFL, and how that relates to his dynasty value. So, Dak, start us off with JJ McCarthy's pros.
Yeah, so like Dalton said, J.J. McCarthy has been shooting up draft boards. He's a really popular name right now. Just declared from Michigan, just won the national championship with them this past season, was a 2-year starter with them, and Jim Harbaugh. So some of the pros, he's like the only quarterback I think out of everyone getting drafted that has operated a pro style scheme. Jim Harbaugh coaching the 49ers for years, had that pro style offense. So J.J. McCarthy, better than most quarterbacks in college right now, is good at attacking the middle of the field. So those in routes, crossing routes, those kinds of things that you'll see translate more to the NFL rather than like heavy RPOs like maybe a Drake May or a Caleb Williams and then mixing that in with downfield shots. JJ McCarthy, he's gotten under center. He has the basics on how to run an NFL offense. He attacks middle of the field well. So that's just kind of good already to see coming in the NFL. Another thing about JJ McCarthy is he's got a really strong arm and he's able to fit the ball in the tight spaces. So yeah, like when he's got a clean pocket, his footwork is good. He can really just drive and deliver a ball in the tight spaces that you don't see other quarterbacks even attempt to make. Another thing about JJ McCarthy is he's also got the athleticism to pair with the strong arm and the strong accuracy. He can create outside of the pocket. He can run for first downs if he needs to. Against Penn State, he ran a couple quarterback design runs and he was able to pick up first downs on key third down conversions. So he's got that in his toolbox, which is you want to see that, especially in this day and age of the NFL. You want quarterbacks that are dual threats, and that's definitely JJ McCarthy. And one last pro on JJ McCarthy is he's also able to operate outside of the pocket, like we said, with the mobility. He's able to create on third down plays with his arm as well. Like, so when the first read isn't open, he can extend the play, operate outside the pocket. He doesn't get flustered. He doesn't look to throw the ball away. He looks to create and get first downs with his arm.
And one more thing about JJ McCarthy is that he's very young, especially compared to some of the other quarterbacks in this class. We're looking at like a Bo Nix or Michael Penix. JJ just turned 21 like last month, so he's very young, which gives us a little bit of a pro. It's not much, but he's got more room to improve maybe. So now Jeff, here's what those JJ McCarthy cons, those negatives.
Yeah, he does have a couple. The one thing that I noticed about him is that his footwork, sometimes when he's flustered in the pocket, he does not set his feet. Could cause him to be inaccurate at times. The ball sails, gets away from him. Another one is he's got really good arm strength that sometimes he trusts a little bit too much, where he thinks he can make these throws into these tight windows. Where in college, yeah, you can get away with it when you're going against a incomplete defense at times. Some corners are not as good as others, but when you're in the NFL, the talent level is really high. Everybody's amazing at what they do. If he tries to make those throws in the NFL, more times than not, it's not going to go as well. Could end up with him turning the ball over. Um, it's just not going to be as easy as it was at Michigan for him to make those tight throws and deliver those crisp passes. Another thing is his vision could be a little questionable. Again, like with the tight windows, he thinks something's open, it's closer than it is. This could come back to bite him in the NFL. He's not great at reading zone coverage. Again, this is something that coaching can help. Uh, Depending on the scheme, a bunch of different things could help him with that. Coaching could fix this zone coverage issue, new scheme, whatever. This could be easily improved upon. And my last point about JJ McCarthy is that during his last year at Michigan, when they won the national championship, they were built in the trenches. Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards did so much for that team. The defense was fantastic. They were up in so many games. JJ McCarthy didn't even play in the fourth quarter in a majority of the games. He did not have to do that much. He didn't have to throw the ball that much. His attempts were down. Again, they ran the ball, power run. So we haven't had to see him make these big time plays or do a lot in college, which is a little like bit of a caution, a bit of a something that they're like, hey, why didn't I see more? But uh, again, we believe in the talent from what we have, the plays that we have seen him make, that we think that he's going to get really good draft capital in this upcoming draft. But it's something that you have to be a little cautious about.
All right, so now we're going to talk about some possible landing spots. Dalton, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different places he could go right now. As we said, he's flying up the mock drafts, but like we still don't know where he's going to go. We're predicting at least in the teens minimum, but most likely we're looking top 10. So teams that could either draft him at their current spot or even trade up for him include Atlanta, Minnesota, the Broncos, Vegas Raiders, Rams, and Seattle. So I don't know about you guys, but I kind of love all of those landing spots. Maybe not in Denver so much, but some of them are really, really good for fantasy. They have great weapons in almost all those teams. So what do you guys think? What do you think, Dak?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The best two spots on that list is Atlanta and Minnesota. And obviously, Minnesota, you got just great weapons, Addison, Jefferson, a great coach, Kevin O'Connell, and then TJ Hawkinson as well. And he gets to probably sit for a year, learn behind Kirk Cousins, no pressure to take over until at least the second year. And in Atlanta, you got Drake London. You've got that Sean McVay scheme they're bringing in with Zach Robinson. You've got Bijan coming out of the backfield. I like what they're doing down in Atlanta. And then the Rams and Seattle aren't bad spots either, right? They just got weapons all over the field. So I could see one of those teams trading up into the top 10 and then pairing JJ McCarthy with top 10 draft capital and those weapons. That's going to make his dynasty value soar. So yeah, I really like those spots.
So now looking at the draft, we don't want to put names to picks yet, but if we're gonna take a guess at where McCarthy could go, if he goes to one of these decent teams, let's say he goes to Atlanta, like how high is he gonna go in a 12-team superflex?
Jeff?
I could see him getting in. Or are we talking tight end premium here?
Tight end premium, sure.
Yeah, so I'm not putting him unless the draft capital on Bowers slips. I wouldn't really put him ahead of Bowers. I could see him in that 107, 108 range. If he gets that, like maybe 106 and a 6 point, like it's all context, it's all league format. But I would put him comfortably if he goes to Atlanta, like he's like probably gone by the 107, but 108. If he's not off the board at 108, there's something wrong in your league.
I could see, right, if you're not in a tight end premium league, let's just say like right, it's just a regular league with no tight end premium, and he goes like top six, someone trades up for him. Like I could see him going at the 106 pretty easily in front of a Dunze and Bowers. Even in a tight end premium, if Bowers slips, kind of like what you said, I could see him hitting 106. I don't know if he goes higher than 106. Maybe he does, but I think right now the ceiling to me is the 106 for him.
Yeah, I agree. The 106. I could maybe see a world where he gets the 105. Let's say if Jaden Daniels falls kind of far, maybe. Or some other bad landing spots work out. You don't know. Never knows what happens.
McCarthy would have to be drafted above Daniels, I feel like.
I
Oh
don't
yeah, I'm saying Daniels have to slip. Like
I don't think that's the craziest thing either. I think at the end of April, people could be like, I don't really not sold on Jaden Daniels, and I really like the talent that JJ McCarthy has. Like by April, that could become the norm. Not obviously in February, it's not that, but it's still 2 months away.
yeah, and then if he ends up on one of these mid-teens type picks, where are we thinking? I'm thinking more there in the 108 range.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's still not bad. I still that strengthens that tier, right? With the 107, the 106. I think the 108, you group that in. Up until now, I think we've been talking about like the 101, the 107 being those picks, and then after that, it's kind of like eh. But I think the 108 is definitely a part of that. And JJ McCarthy getting drafted in the teens, he's still going to a great landing spot. It strengthens that tier definitely.
Yeah, I'd have to think like if he ends up with the Rams, maybe like yes, he's with McVay. His value will take a little bit of a hit because he'll probably sit behind Stafford, but like could be like a Jordan Love opportunity where value starts to slip and then you pounce on it and you buy low on a nice player like that. So I think 108, 109 range for any of those teams. Teams.
I think JJ is single-handedly boosting the 108 right now by himself. Just kind of the feel that I'm getting from this. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like the video, and we will see you next time.